It's great to see you again, Paul.
And you.
You're one of my favorite guys, I tell you. And
That's
Colm, for all that I've been through with Star Trek, and I've never met you. I was dear friends
Uh,
with Lolita
uh-huh.
and other people, but I've never met you.
Lolita Davidovich.
Lolita Faggio from production.
Okay. Right. Right.
Anyway, please go ahead.
No. I just which Lolita you were talking
Yeah, don't throw names at us, Tony. We're very fragile. We
about.
get confused. We confuse easily.
It's a fragile time.
Especially our Lolitas.
Yeah, don't confuse them. Uh, Paul, I'm going to start with you. Congratulations. This is such a funny film, and uh,
Oh, good.
I love the fact that it hits all these notes about kind of a fish out of water and family and mending fences. Uh, you're a co-writer on this. How was the idea? Where did the idea spring from?
This was the idea was me years ago saying I want to go to Ireland and make a movie. I'd been to Ireland 30 years ago and loved it, and I just always been drawn to it. And for reasons I don't quite understand, it calls to me. And
Mm.
I as referenced in the film, the movie Local Hero was a big movie for me, and I always loved that. I once met Peter Rieger, who starred in Local Hero, and I said, "Let me ask you what was that like making it?" And he looked at me, trying to be gentle. He goes, "Exactly like you think." I said, "Ah, geez, really? It was that beautiful." He goes, "It was that beautiful." But so it was just coming up with an idea, and I was playing with this idea that I go to Ireland, and I was banging around for years, and then finally somebody introduced me to Wally, this young writer, and I said, well, maybe we should write this together. So it's always helpful to bounce stuff off, but I always knew it was going to be me, and I don't think I didn't have the audacity to think, well, we'll get Colm Meany. But when the script was done, and what was, the big thing was finding that story, and that it was, really a little microcosm of solving the world's problems one family at a time. Let's see if we can start with these two idiots. And then when the script, we heard that Colm had gotten the script and responded to it, we were just in heaven. And
Colm,
so,
did you know Paul before the film?
No. I was a fan, an admirer of Paul's for years, but we'd never crossed paths. We'd never worked
yeah,
together, we even met socially. So, it was, I was sent a script and just delighted when I read it. I mean, I read it straight through for a city and went and read it
yeah.
again. Look at the character, and it was. I just thought the writing was wonderful, and I had the feeling that I thought Paul must have spent a lot of time in Ireland because he got the complexities of Ireland, modern Ireland, not the Darby O'Gill Ireland, and he got that very clearly in the script, and the diversity, the modern and the kind of ancient coexisting together, and so I figured he must have spent a lot of time there. But then when we finally met, I found out he didn't. So
But I want
Well,
to go back if they'll have me. I said when we were done, we had such a wonderful time. We had perfect weather, and then we shot it in the summer, and it was just beautiful. And I was like, I don't want to leave. I want to move here. I'm going to move here. And Colm goes, can I suggest come back during the winter before you decide? We're like, oh yeah, it's not always this beautiful. It's cold and wet, but not what I saw.
Paul, your character Barry. I mean, he's kind of everyman. Was it that way from beginning? Did you know you were going to play him as you were writing this?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to write it for Ryan Gosling. He's already working. So, so I'm not that benevolent, Tony.
By the way,
I wrote it. I said I wanted to go to Ireland. I wasn't going to send somebody else Ireland. So I knew I was going to play it. And whenever I write me, I kind of write what's going to be comfortable in my wheelhouse. That being said, obviously I'm not that businessman. I'm not hopefully not that malevolent. Do you know what I heard? I'll share this poem. This I didn't know it at the time. We made up this story. What would Barry do to get back at him? What was that one-upsmanship? I thought, oh, he'll build a wall. That's really fun. come to find out, that's how Trump got Mar-a-Lago. He offered it was Meriwether what's the name Meriwether Post, Margaret Meriwether Post built it. He offered something like $15 million. She wanted more. He either bought or threatened to buy the land between the property and the water. He goes, I'm going to build a wall and there's nothing you can do about it. And she ended up selling it to him for $5 million. I went, we
Wow.
made that up. I made that up. I'm like, oh, that's so. If nothing
Wow.
else, I'm proud to have shared that evil, that inclination
You're an evil
with
genius.
with some of the best.
By the
Isn't that
way,
wild? Isn't that wild?
Paul, Ryan Gosling is changing his last name to Swan because he's older now.
Hey, Tony's on a roll.
There
Look
you
at
go.
that.
Colm, your care, where does that come from? I mean, do you known people like this? Are you like this?
Oh, he
Very,
is. He
very,
is
very
that
much
guy.
like this.
Yeah.
It was uncanny. I just saw myself all the time in this. Yeah, I mean, no, as I say, I think Paul, the writing from the get go, I felt truthful and accurate and believable. And that's where I think great comedy comes from. It's not from the, kind of you can have the bizarre as well, but the really good the comedy comes from people being real and truthful and kind of just somehow missing each other.
Yes, yes.
And that's I think where we found the comedy in this, I mean it was there in the writing, but it was but it's that sort of level of understanding and misunderstanding or something.
And that's hopefully what people are watching. They're rooting for each of these guys because they're not bad guys. They both, it starts with the best intention. Would you come over and let's raise a pint in celebration and put this silly generational feud to rest? Okay, you got it. I come out and I'm like, I believe you. I got nothing to do. I'm retired, sure. And then on the first time he crosses me, I go, son of a bitch. Okay. Okay. And then they're off to the races. But they both want to be better. They both want to be better than they are. And I think, Colm and I think do share that. I think we both can be lovely, charming people and both can be annoying and prickly. More me than him. He's more of a pussycat. But, I worked with a guy I was writing with. It was something that's going to be for me to play. And after a few weeks of writing together, he goes, from TV, everybody thinks you're such a nice guy. He goes, you're not that nice. I went, I know that. They don't know that.
It's a
So I think
beautiful.
we all,
It's a
yeah,
beautiful.
well, we all have parts of us that we're not so proud of, for sure. And but again, I think what we're also pleased about that this movie and it succeeded. It's ultimately it's got a bit of a, I hate the word message, so put it in quotes, but it's got something that's at least serious, as like how do people get along in this crazy world? But hopefully that's encased in this fun comedy that's with people you like and beautiful scenery and Jane Levy, who's great.
And
So
Jane,
yeah,
it's a beautiful love letter to the Irish countryside too.
that's what I told the Irish Tourist Board when I asked them to give me money. They didn't feel that way. I
Colm,
said, guys.
in our final moments, Colm, what do you think audiences are going to take away from watching The Problem with People?
Well, first of all, I hope they have a good time. I hope, and so far, the screening I witnessed, audiences were right in there right away. They kind of got the tone of the film, which is a tribute to both Chris, our director, and Paul. They got the tone of the film. They got it right away. They realized, this can be a fun ride. Mm. So, first of all, that, and then secondly, all the things we've talked about. I mean, the fact that it's a film with kind of universal appeal that speaks to other issues as well.
One of the things that surprised us was really sweet is a couple of people when we've premiered this a few months back at a film festival, and so many of the comments were, "I'm going to go home. You know what? I'm going to call my father. You know what? I'm going to call my sister that I haven't spoken to for 4 years because this is silly." It's like, well, that is pretty lovely. And like, yeah, of course we're not going to solve world peace, but if anybody leaves going, You know what? I think I can be a little better than I have been lately. That's pretty great.
I think you guys have solved world peace.
Well, that too.
I'm
Yeah.
ready for it. Guys,
Yeah.
such an honor and a pleasure to chat with you, Paul, again. And Colm,
Thank
it
you,
was
Tony.
so
Lovely
nice
to see
meeting
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony.
Be well, Tony.
Take
Thank
care
you.
and have a great day.